7:21 p.m. on this 29th day of September 2021. I call this emergency meeting of the United Independent School District Board of Trustees to order. The board members in attendance to my left, starting with Mr. Rodriguez.
Ricardo Rodriguez, present.
Elisa Flores Olivero is present.
Frank Castillo, present.
Ricardo Molina.
Ramiro Vélez, Torres, present.
Javier Montemayor, present. Let the record show that the quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Agenda item number 3, Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silence. Agenda item number 4, public comments. Any public comments?
At this time, there are no public comments, sir.
Agenda item number 5, item for individual consideration. Discussion regarding cause number 21-0836. Henry Greg Abbott in his official capacity as Governor of Texas on petition for writ of mandamus before the Supreme Court of Texas and matters incident thereto.
Yes, good evening, board members, Superintendent Gonzalez. You know, on this item, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background very briefly. As you know, you all instituted a mask resolution a couple months ago, about 6 weeks ago. That was, it went to litigation before the district court, 49th District Court. There was a temporary restraining order granted, temporary injunction granted by the 49th District Court that prohibited the governor from enforcing his Executive Order 38. It prohibited government entities from establishing mask requirements. That then was appealed by the governor to the 4th Court of Appeals. There was a motion filed by the governor to suspend that order by the district court. That was unsuccessful at the 4th Court, which is in San Antonio. The governor then appealed that decision to the Supreme Court of Texas. Within 24 hours of their motion being filed, we were asked to file a response. Within 24 hours of our response being filed, the Supreme Court issued an order suspending Judge Lopez's order. So, long story short on that, there is no legal order in effect right now locally that would prohibit the governor from enforcing GA 38 against the district for its mask resolution, which is the reason that we asked, legal counsel asked for this emergency meeting to be held so that we can discuss this with you.
So in other words, we have no authority to make our masks or make masks won't be worn at any school or district facilities mandatory.
Correct. There is no legal protection, basically. I mean, the governor would argue that the district never had that authority because of his order, but at the very least, you had the 49th District Court injunction in effect, the quality appeals, and while those cases are pending. As you know, and for the members of the public who are listening, there are many cases around the state right now. The governor is being sued, the governor is suing several districts. The AG just filed a suit against 14 districts last week, seeking temporary restraining orders against their mask orders. It's a mess around the state, but there is a couple cases that are more advanced than others, and those are going to decide basically who's right and who's wrong. Does the governor have the authority to do this, or do districts have the authority to do this? Those cases are already set before the Supreme Court. They're set for briefing. But unfortunately, while those cases are pending, we do have a Supreme Court order that is directly specified to be, attacking UISD's base mask resolution.
What's the time limit, like, for us to, that we have, they're gonna bring it back, right? It was just, what do you call it?
You mean the appeal?
Yeah.
The time limit for the
In other words,
court to decide?
it wasn't a final, it was just,
Correct.
okay. When is it gonna be final? Or
My
because the city and the school district is under TEA.
Correct.
So, would
And
that
that-
give us
that-
more
that-
time? More time?
That question is actually being litigated right now in the appeals courts and the Supreme
I
Court.
know that TEA was litigating with the government on that. I don't know
Well,
if
TEA
that's TEA or not.
No, TEA is not a party to those lawsuits. It's cities, counties, and school districts. The city of Laredo's mask requirement, or their order from the health authority, was not a citywide order. It was to allow districts, or to mandate the use of masks within district facilities. So it applied to Laredo ISD and United ISD. We also, at United, had a face mask requirement in place, and we joined into the city's lawsuit against the governor, trying to restrain the governor's order. But to answer your question, Mr. Molina, I think litigation may take about another couple months before we get a solid answer. And of course, if the Supreme Court rules in the district's favor, you can immediately, you'll immediately have legal grounds to instate a mask requirement, correct?
Now, the resolution that, I'm sorry, the order that was issued by the Supreme Court of the state of Texas, does that also include the city of Laredo?
It applies to both entities, yes, sir. But as I mentioned, the city of Laredo's order was really only to require the use of masks in districts. It's not a citywide order.
But that order still stands for the city.
The city, I'm not sure what the city's going to do, but the city, my understanding is they have their meeting on Monday.
So they might pull it out, but this, up to right now, it still stands. Right?
As of to right now, correct, you're right. They haven't taken official city council
If we
action.
were to take a vote, and I think if we were to rescind our vote, would the city order still stay in place for us?
I'm not sure, but I guess in that hypothetical, if the district no longer had a mask resolution in place, but the city still had theirs in place, it would technically apply to you as a school
But
district.
neither entity has any legal protection at this point.
That's the main thing, which is why we wanted this item to be presented to you tonight, that you don't have the injunction in place at this time because of the Supreme Court's order.
We have no other legal avenue to pursue this other than to wait for pending litigation on the right of the governor.
Correct, there's more advanced litigation pending right now that has already, it's gonna be resolved before UIC's appeal.
And I think our numbers in the district have proven that our mask mandate has worked. Students and teachers are in the practice of wearing a mask. Our community, I'm very proud to be a part of this community. You know, you go into stores that don't mandate a mask be used, and everybody's wearing one. You go to other cities, people are not wearing them. But in our community, we've been very proactive. Our numbers citywide have been improving. In light of the fact that we no longer have any legal recourse to continue with our mask mandate, I would like to make a motion to rescind.
I think it's,
Yeah,
We're not currently on that item.
I don't think we need to.
We're not on that item yet, okay.
I don't think we
So,
really.
Lisa, do you have something you want to add?
I think procedurally, number one, I'll address it this way. Number one, what does UISD do next? I think that given the Supreme Court order, I think we have no choice, but we cannot mandate masks anywhere in UISD facilities or schools. So that's a given. But I would ask the superintendent and his staff to initiate a campaign to encourage and urge all students, all teachers and staff, parents, just like we do all these other campaigns across the district to wear masks. I think just like we do the vaccination, and, I think masks are also important. I think the numbers are really low at United ISD, contrary to what Dr. Trevino had predicted prior to school starting. I think our numbers have been somewhat controlled. So I would ask that campaign be sent out, made public, and hammered home, just like vaccinations are being hammered across the city and across the nation. Just make it a really strong message that we urge them to do it. But so procedurally, Mr. Garcia, I don't think we need to rescind the order. I just think that the board just needs to recognize the Supreme Court's order and basically just issue a directive that we cannot make masks mandatory.
And legally, is that allowed to go?
I think legally that's an option, but I think the risk, from a legal perspective, the risk you run there is that
I'd rather
the
rescind.
Attorney General could still,
I
could still argue, I mean, my opinion is that the Attorney General could still argue that you do have a mask mandate in place. And, you know, to that point, Midway ISD, I believe, was one of the 14 districts that the Attorney General sued last week. And they claimed in their filing that they never had a mask requirement in place. But, so, you know, I think.
I second the
makes it
motion
a
from
little
Mr.
tricky.
Rivera also. I also agree.
I think, yeah, you got that point.
We're not there yet.
Oh,
Yes,
we're not
you-
there.
I know.
Okay, really quick, that's the next agenda item, but
Can we move
while
on?
it is a prediction, I do think it would be likely that if there was not a rescission of the mask mandate, even if we stated that we were not going to enforce it, at the end of the day, there still would be a resolution in place December 31st, and I find it highly likely, considering the litigious nature of the governor and attorney general, that they would come after us. I mean, we made Twitter news yesterday, so it's not some secret, so.
I would think it would dissolve by operation of law. But that's fine, if the board wishes to rescind it, then we can do that. That's just,
I think we were at a point that this is the most that we can push back against our state government without any major ramifications coming our way. So we're at a point that the Supreme Court has already specifically ruled on the local order that we had that was given us some protection.
That's correct.
And I think, just like Ms.
And
Obrador.
I think we do have to be careful with our wording. I do think rescind is the proper way to go, because we actually did make a resolution, and it's now been found that it's contrary to what the Supreme Court of Texas wants. But I would also be very careful about what we instruct administration. I don't think it's necessary to encourage or discourage. We should just follow, we appreciate our habits and personally encourage, but to make any policy, it kind of goes against what the order is telling us. So I'd be careful with what we tell administration to do.
Based on the order, and if there was a rescission put in place, we would not be able to discipline students and or employees based off the rescission of the mask
I
mandate.
don't think there's an issue with regard to urging and,
There's not.
you know, there's no issue.
There could be,
In fact, local businesses are doing it, even though the governor has clearly stated that, you know, we're not to mandate masks anywhere.
Correct.
So I don't think there's any issue. I just think that it continues to provide protection for our students, which at the end of the day is why we're here. And I think that's, you know, without saying it's required, without saying it's mandatory, you know, I don't think there's
Or
any issue.
mandated.
I don't think there's any issue with district urging parents and students to.
The hard facts are there, that it has helped that we, such a large district,
Absolutely.
so many students, staff in our campuses. It has certainly helped to control the numbers so far.
I think it has definitely helped. I do want to make one point for members of the public. We're not admitting to any liability or, you know, lawfulness or unlawfulness of the previous resolution. It's just, you know, that question is going to be answered eventually. I mean, there's a lot of counties and districts that are out there. They were ahead of the game fighting it. All we're saying here is that the temporary injunction the district had in place, specifically prohibiting the governor from suing you, is no longer in effect because of the Supreme Court's order directly applying to you.
Correct, and in line with that, I'd like to say that what we did was a success. We've seen that in our numbers. So mission accomplished, it's time to do what we need to do legally, and we'll wait for pending litigation.
Yeah, along the lines of the governor saying, hey, it's up to the families to, if their children want to wear it, then they can ask their children to wear it. So we ask the families to continue to urge their children to wear it. So I'll move on to agenda item number, there's no more discussion, agenda item number 6. Ms. Oliveros, your motion again?
Yes, motion to rescind our mask mandate, if that's a correct wording, I don't know.
Yeah, the mask resolution.
The base resolution.
Okay.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Agenda item number 7, adjournment. Is there any opposition to adjournment?
No,
We are adjourned.
Just to communicate to the board, to communicate to the board as a district, we will, and just want the other members of the board, we will follow the recommendation. We're going to strongly encourage the wearing of masks. Obviously, we have the data to show that it has helped us as far as our COVID numbers. We're doing everything in our power of the district to make sure that we encourage our students. And we will be working with IT as far as coming up with the video to show our students as well. Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.